growing up, there was a big dirt lot, and we used to ride our bikes in these foothills, and they always had motorcycles and dirt bikes and all that stuff. But I remember being here day one. Like, I remember we actually got an invite because we lived right across the street. So I was actually here day one of the opening, walking through West Edmonton Mall.
September 15th, 1981. The world's largest fully enclosed shopping center opens to the public.
On my part, to officially declare this Shopping West Edmonton Mall open today. And good luck for the future.
Consisting of anchor tenants Eaton's, The Bay, and Sears, along with Safeway and a food court, West Edmonton Mall's beginnings were impressive at the time, and yet rather humble when compared to what the center has grown into today. The mall quickly expanded. A mere 2 years later, it brought hundreds of new stores, and the first of its major attractions, including an amusement park, Fantasyland, and the mall's central skating rink, the Ice Palace.
You know, there are certain parts of my life that are direct correlation with West Edmonton Mall. My first job was, I was the Zamboni driver at the Ice Palace. Not only did you drive the Zamboni, but you also were the radio guy. So you were the skate guard. So you would skate around the palace and music would be playing. And then after 15 minutes, you had to turn everybody around because of the wear pattern on the ice. But I can still do it, by the way. Ladies and gentlemen, can I get everybody to please slow down, turn yourselves around, and skate in the opposite skating direction?
It wasn't long at all before the mall expanded again. This time, more than doubling in size and unveiling major attractions like the World Water Park and the Deep Sea Adventure submarine ride, and more than cementing itself as the premier shopping and entertainment icon in North America. Sure, over time, many things have come and gone, but there always seems to be something new arriving at West Edmonton Mall. And really, that's how it has to be. When you're home to over 800 of them, the shuffle of stores and attractions is literally never ending.
My name's Frank Panessa. I'm the general sales manager at, well, what used to be Mayfield Toyota, which is now West Edmonton Mall Toyota. The journey started probably 8 years ago when we approached West Edmonton Mall with the possibility of maybe doing an event at the Ice Palace. We wanted to do a public sort of big display of cars, and we thought the Ice Palace was the perfect option. So that turned into a 5-year commitment where it became Mayfield Toyota Ice Palace. And we started doing 6 events a year. And those 6 events a year were tremendously successful. And we just took advantage of the natural flow of people that came to West Edmonton Mall.
With around 30 million visitors each year, you can imagine how successful you might be showcasing vehicles in that space. So, over the next 5 years, it became quite common to see cars for sale on the surface of the newly renamed Mayfield Toyota Ice Palace. Meanwhile, during those years, one of Canada's most established department store chains started facing some very harsh realities.
In recent years, Sears has had a revolving door of CEOs. It already sold off valuable leases like its former flagship store in Toronto's Eaton Centre, but still, it's strapped for cash.
On June 13th, 2017, Sears Canada announced that it had significant doubts as to the company's ability to continue operating. That was the beginning of the end for what was once Canada's biggest selling and most successful department store. And by the end of January 2018, all Sears locations in Canada were closed for good, including the location at West Edmonton Mall, the very same which opened along with the mall itself over 35 years prior. This left the mall with a rather large space waiting to be filled, a type of space which historically hasn't been the easiest to deal with. To put it into context, back in 1999, when the Phase 3 anchor tenant, the Second Bay location, shuttered its doors, the mall chose to convert that space into Mall Concourse, unveiling it as the mall's 4th phase. And more recently, when Target left Millwoods Town Centre, another mall in Edmonton, they simply demolished that part of the mall instead of trying to fill it. That's how challenging converting anchor tenant space can be in this day and age.
Toyota came to us and said that we needed to update our image. At the time, we are the oldest Toyota store in the city of Edmonton, if not Alberta. West Edmonton Mall came to us with an idea. And I think, like most people, we kind of just scoffed at it. We were just like, yeah, you can't put a dealership in a mall.
Except that you can. And it's been done before. West Edmonton Mall Toyota may be the newest addition to West Edmonton Mall, but it's not the mall's first car showroom. Nope, that honor goes way back to the 1980s, and West Edmonton Chrysler. For a relatively short time, it lived right beside the aforementioned Ice Palace, where Aritzia lives today. Proof of its existence lives on in this West Edmonton Mall commercial from 1988.
Get smart. Do your Christmas shopping at West Edmonton Mall.
However, it was just a vehicle showroom. It's not quite the same as what West Edmonton Mall Toyota is bringing to the mall today.
And the more we started to play with the idea, the more we started thinking about what our customers wanted. And the options for our service and our parts customers became endless. And we started to think, can you imagine what you can do when you're bringing your car in for service? And we were able to present a waiting room that had countless options. And the options were as big as the imagination allowed them to be.
And so, with the decision made, the transformation was underway. The former anchor tenant location had been long empty, and work began on transforming the former department store into a car showroom and service center.
So right now we're standing in the old Sears building. We took the staff here about 2 years ago when we first planned on this idea, and it was literally a condemned Sears building. The escalators were actually just sitting right in the middle of the service department. And I think my recollection is this used to be where the baby wear section was. So cribs, mattresses, all that kind of stuff was actually in this corner right here. But when we first had the idea and we took the staff, it was dark and dingy. It was like an old, closed down, abandoned Sears. And it's interesting to see it today. It's completely transformed.
But it wasn't just the Sears location which needed work. The space required to bring one of Canada's largest vehicle dealerships to West Edmonton Mall was beyond that of the former anchor location. A large piece of the Phase 1 concourse was also allocated for dealership space. This allocation of space was the reason behind the secondary home of Robin Bell's Open Sea, the mall's iconic bronze statue of two North Atlantic right whales. Originally, back in the 1980s and 1990s, they lived in a pool of water in the mall's third phase, just outside the original HMV location. They were eventually removed, and 5 years later, brought back just outside of Sears. During the onset of the pandemic, and the beginning of all this work, they were taken down again, and now live on the opposite side of Phase 1. That was the beginning of a long, involved effort to transport a significant piece of West Edmonton Mall's first phase. And it was only a segment of the changes. One of the most impactful was the relocation of the exterior mall entrance. And this area, formerly a mall concourse, marks the edge of the dealership, where a vehicle showroom meets a shopping mall. And this area, known today as their vehicle delivery bay, is actually an expansion. This used to be outside of the mall entrance, the one which faced Galaxyland, with the physical mall doors living right about here. It goes without saying that this transformation was a massive undertaking. But after years of work, West Edmonton Mall Toyota finally officially opened on October 18th, 2021.
I think when people ask me questions about West Edmonton Mall, I think everybody gravitates to the numbers. We're over 130,000 square feet, which is significant. It probably makes us the largest dealership in Alberta, if not the country. Our service drive-through can hold 36 cars. But I'm always a little skeptic about talking about size and how many, how big it is or how shiny it is, because I think from a customer standpoint, they don't really care about those things. They want convenience. So as much as I think I'm impressed with the fact that we have 72 service bays, I don't know if that really resonates with anybody else unless you're in the car business. I think for customers, they just want to know that they can get in and out and they can get out in a hurry. And I think we've built a facility that can handle that.
At this point, I fully acknowledge that this is starting to sound a lot like a commercial for West Edmonton Mall Toyota. But really, when the topic of the video is a car dealership coming to West Edmonton Mall, that's somewhat inevitable. But let's take the Toyota branding out of this concept for just a moment, and look at it within the context of West Edmonton Mall itself. It's always been the mall with pretty much everything. You can get a hotel room here, you can go swimming, you can buy your groceries, you can see a doctor, fill a prescription, go shopping, ride a roller coaster, play some bets, go out for a bite, or have a laugh with some friends, and plenty more. And now you can add getting your car serviced to that list, regardless of what you drive.
We tried to look at it from two factors. Number one, our existing clientele, which are primarily Toyota buyers, and then what could we do for the general public? So we wanted to build a facility that we could not only service and supply parts for Toyota customers, but for all customers. So right now we'll be able to supply parts and service for every make and model.
More simply put, West Edmonton Mall now has a garage where no matter what vehicle you own, you can get your oil changed or your car fixed. And you can drive right into the mall to do it. You don't have to rush to get there by 4 p.m. either. So just to confirm, you are like 6 p.m. rolls around, I'm off work, I come here to go see a movie with my wife. The service department is open.
Service department's open. Yeah, we'll have a full service, detail, parts department open mall hours. And we're hoping that changes the game a little bit. I think I get my car serviced just like everybody else, and I've always had to do it on their terms, and it'll be interesting to see what happens when we open it up and make it so that it's the customer's terms instead.
So there you have it. West Edmonton Mall's newest edition is finally open for business, and it's definitely an impressive transformation. And even though I like how those LED lit car displays look spread out into Phase 1, I must admit, a part of me, the nostalgic side, feels a wee bit, nostalgic. It never mattered to me how dated and worn Sears felt at the end of its life. I actually still shopped there quite a bit. But it's clear I was probably the only one. And West Edmonton Mall's original phase, at least before some of the changes it's seen in the past 5 years, it really felt to me, in part, that I was still back in my childhood, walking around the mall when it was still gold trimmed and mirrored. I've always loved trees in malls. And yes, I do realize they're somewhat out of style, but those green canopies that used to exist in Phase 1, well, I really loved those. Along with the massive skylights above, it almost felt surreal to see them in place, so many years after they were first planted. Walking through Phase 1 brought me back to an era of massive fountains and expansive water features. And yet, as sad as I am to see them go, I'm under no illusions that no change was needed after Sears went out of business. And it's great to see a new and impressive addition to West Edmonton Mall. It's no easy task to replace something as large as a department store. And who doesn't like wandering around looking at some pretty darn nice cars? Plus, they have really fantastic taste in who they pick to star in their commercials.
Life is too short for boring waiting rooms and stale vending machine snacks. We understand that there is nothing more important than your time. Time with family, time with friends, and more time for yourself. We're here when you need us and where you need us, no matter what you drive. West Edmonton Mall Toyota, convenience for all.
So, the next time you're over at the mall, make a point to head on over to Phase 1. Stop and see all the changes that came along with the arrival of West Edmonton Mall Toyota. Remember what the space used to look like, and reflect on all the work that went into making it what it is today. And when your current vehicle is due for service, regardless of what brand it is, why not take it to West Edmonton Mall? Spend a day at the water park, or go out for a bite to eat in a movie. And in the meantime, your car will be in good hands at Edmonton's newest and the country's largest in-mall vehicle showroom and service center, West Edmonton Mall Toyota. Special thanks to Frank, JC, Maria, and everyone else at West Edmonton Mall Toyota. What do you think of the mall's new addition? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the channel, give us a like and a share, and maybe even visit our Patreon page. And why not check out this video from 4 years ago, where I was questioning the fate of Phase 1. It's interesting to look back and see it today. Or just check out any one of my other videos, all about the greatest indoor show on earth, West Edmonton Mall. Oh, and thanks for watching.